Camille Loveman, and Corliss, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Hi, and I'm Corliss Chan.
And we're going to focus on thriving and surviving with the Asian healing arts. So we're going to focus specifically on the acupressure, acupuncture, Jin Shin Jyutsu, nutrition, and self-care pieces. And this is an image of balance. So in the center, you see the Tai Chi, which is the yin yang symbol. And our medicine is really focusing on achieving overall balance with the body and how it relates to the environment. So what is traditional Chinese medicine? This is a medical system that we've been using for thousands of years to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. And we're basing it on the belief of qi, which is the vital energy source that flows through the meridians along the body. And it's about balancing out the emotional health, the mental health, physical health, and just helping the body achieve overall balance. And within traditional Chinese medicine, we can focus on some nutrition, acupuncture, acupressure, meditation, jujitsu, and other healing modalities. So for survivorship, we want to put an emphasis on healing and also achieving balance, achieving harmony of the body, and increasing the immunity. Oops, slide. So for traditional Chinese medicine, each season has an effect on the meridian system. And right now, because we're going into autumn, it's more of a yin time of year. And the emphasis of autumn is focused on the lungs. And the lung is the yin pair to the large intestine. And the element related to it is metal. The emotions associated with it, if it's out of balance, can be a lot of grief, a lot of sadness. And if it's in balance, we're focusing on clear thinking, letting go of things that don't serve you, staying open to new ideas, and good communication. And all of these will help improve the overall function of the lungs and also the large intestine. So I like to use this chart. It's a way of kind of seeing how balance works. Everything is in a circle. And it shows the paired meridians. So you see on the top half, the lung and the large intestine. They can be related to the element that we just went over, metal, autumn. And then it opens to the nose. So for any sinus congestion, breath work is really important. This shows the emotion associated with it if it's out of balance. And the period between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., sometimes people will find themselves waking up in the middle of the night between 3 and 5 a.m. And this could be a sign that something is out of balance. So working on clearing that with breath work, with intention around that. And then also regulating your bowel movements can help improve the overall function of the lungs. So if you notice yourself having a bowel movement between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., that's ideal. That can show us that the large intestine and the lung are starting to achieve more balance. If you're not noticing that, you go into the stomach over here, the stomach and the spleen. Those hours are between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. for the stomach. And so if you find yourself unable to carve out the meditation time, if you're just able to eat a really nutritious meal between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., you can help balance out that stomach energy. And that can help with some of the emotions associated with the lung. You also can see, there's so much to go through in this chart, but the worrying that's associated with the stomach, if it's out of balance, You really want to take time away from your meals to sit down and really enjoy your meal away from work, ideally with people, so you can have some communication or some mindfulness around eating. That can really help with the overall energy of the stomach. So fall in relation to the lungs, in Chinese medicine, the lungs' major function are to maintain health and immunity. It's also our protector, so it helps protect against any pathogens, and it helps the energy of the body circulate, and it can help with fluid retention. So if you're noticing a buildup of fluids, if you feel gassy, using the lung meridian can really help to balance out the fluids of the body. And the yin is the lung, and every meridian has a balancing system. So if the yin is the lung, the large intestine is the yang meridian. And so nourishing that meridian can help balance out the lungs and help with the letting go of. The bowels actually do let go of stuff. So this is something to consider. If you're unable to let go of any of the grief, you can just let go of your bowels, and that can help with some of the energy associated with the lung. Also letting go of anything related to the emotion and metabolic support. Autumn is associated with the lungs. So as we're in fall, you can catch colds and you're more prone to surface level infections. So making sure that we're taking good care of it is very important. So the nose is the sensory opening to the lungs. So often you'll see with colds coming in the fall that you'll have a runny nose and congestion and sinuses. And so this is a sign that there's something going on with the lung. The skin is the tissue associated with the lung. So helping to improve it can also help with the appearance of your skin and the luster of the skin. And then the taste that corresponds with it is spicy. So we don't want to do too much of one thing, but sometimes to get the energy of the lung moving, we can add a little spice. If you're easily to startle, or if you're having a difficult time processing some of the emotions of the lung, this is what we can use Chinese medicine to help overall increase. So this is the 5-element chart. On the top, you'll see wood, fire, earth, metal, and water are the elements. And then on the left corner, the emotions associated with each of them, the sensory organ, the tissue related to each of these elements. There's a yin and a yang meridian, a taste, a sound, a smell, and a climate. So this is the way that we look at the body. And for survivors, we're often with disease, there is an imbalance. And so coming out of cancer treatment, usually the yin of the body is very damaged. And so we really want to focus on restoring the balance of the body. And so we can look to all of these elements to gain some aspect of what your body is going through. And you can oscillate between each element. So you can have anger, joy, worry, grief, and fear. And then we can look towards the sensory organs. So if your eyes are inflamed, sometimes that can mean that there's something going on with the liver meridian. There could be a sour taste. The wind, if you're having a wind invasion, or if you're really sensitive to wind, or if you notice your eyes are really watery, we can look to the liver. The fire is related with some joy if it's in balance and it opens to the tongue and the mouth. The blood vessels are related to that. So we look at the fire element with relation to sleep. If it's in balance, you feel good with laughter and a lot of joy. And out of balance, you can have some anger there and some extra heat. And then with the earth element, that's related to worry. That also opens to the mouth, fire specifically for the tongue, and it affects the muscles and the spleen and stomach. And sweet foods help to naturally sweet foods. So things like yams. Too much sugar can actually create an imbalance. So we're looking at the naturally sweet flavors, like a nice tea. Singing, that sound can just help improve the element of the earth and help with your stomach and spleen. And it's affected by dampness. So the cold, damp weather that we experience in San Francisco, that damp feeling can really affect the earth. And so as we're going into the fall, we really look at the metal. So we want to clear out that dampness. We want to open up the nose. We want to improve the skin. We want to eat really good. And it can be impacted by dryness. So if things are really dry, we want to moisten them. And I'll go into that in a later slide about some dietary recommendations. And then as we're moving into winter, Corliss and I will focus more on this water element in winter, but water is kind of coming up. And so using water, knowing that it's going to be in the future, using water to heal can help with some of the energy around the kidneys and bladder. But we'll go into that in more detail in the winter. So I'm going to go over a 3-point treatment to help strengthen the lungs as we're in the fall. Some of this is a little redundant. I just wanted to get across how everything is in relation to each other. So the nose is the sensory organ related to the lung. If you have sinus congestion, you can have some loss of smell. There are other symptoms that are related to this lung function, but we look at those main surface things. And the skin. So if you're having rashes or if you want clearer skin, wrinkle-free skin, it's important to take care of the lungs and the large intestine. So the point that I'm going to go through is called lung 7, and it's located on the wrist. And it's just below the compression here. The English name is broken sequence. And so it's the Lu connecting point of this meridian. So the yin side is on the whiter part of your hand, and then the yang side is on the outside. So the broken sequence is between the yin and the yang side of the hand. And it's the command point of the head and neck. So it helps with any headaches, any pain coming into the neck, any facial paralysis or toothache, a sore throat, cough, asthma. It can also help with some abdominal distension. And it's used in connection with the kidney 6, which is the next point I'll go through. But are you able to find this, Christy? Do you see it here? Yeah, so it's on the thumb side. If you come down the thumb, and it's just right here. And then the next point, I like to do this on opposite sides. So if you use your right hand, you would use your left foot for the kidney point. And the kidney point is located on the inside of the foot. If you come up to the ankle area, and it's just right below the knob on your inner ankle. So I can show you with my own foot, but it's right in here. So you would use, if you're doing the lung 7 point on the right hand, you would use the left foot, and vice versa. If you want to use your right hand, you would use the left foot, because that helps to achieve balance between the yin and the yang. And so the name for this is the shining sea. This describes more the anatomical location. It's on the medial aspect of the foot and the depression below the medial malleolus. And it's the master point of the vessels. So we combine it with that lung point to help with dryness of the throat. It can also help with constipation, any urinary retention, and it helps with some gynecological problems like irregular menstruation and any prolapse, any itching of the skin, epilepsy, and some eye disorders. And then the third point, so this is a 3-point master thing to just help boost up the lungs, is the Ren 20 point. And the anatomical location I have here, it helps with some cough, distension, pain in the chest and the hypochondrium. And it helps to open up the chest and regulate and subdue any extra lung energy. So the energy of the lung, we don't want any rebellious energy. That's when you have hiccups or any distension here. So we would press this to help stop cough. And it's on the center line here, right below the clavicle. And you can just press right in here. So in terms of dietary recommendations, with dryness, this can really dominate the season. So people will often feel dry. They could have a dry cough, itchy nose. So you really want to eat foods to help moisten the lungs, like pears, apples. Mushrooms are really good. Like any type of mushroom can really help boost immunity. Persimmons, they're in season, they're orange in color. They're also sweet, so they help to get rid of some of that dampness. Figs, pumpkins, pumpkin seeds, and pumpkins, like anything orange in color. And soups like carrot ginger soup. Pears will really help to moisten the lungs. Sometimes I even will have patients cut up a pear, boil the water, and then drink the water to help moisten some of the lungs. Since colds are prominent in the fall, we really want to get rid of the spleen and stomach dampness. So eating foods that are like juicy foods, pears, grapefruits, dates, they can help change your body's chemistry and help adapt into the fall. You would want to avoid foods that contribute to dampness. This is like anything refined, a lot of pasta, a lot of wheat, dairy can add dampness to the body. So trying to avoid these foods to help strengthen the energy of the lung is really important. And Corliss will go into the Jin Jyutsu portion. If you have questions, we can answer them at the end.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Camille. Great presentation.
Thank
So
you.
hi, Chan. And I've been a practitioner of Jin Shin Jyutsu and Acupressure for over 25 years. They're beautiful art forms and healing systems. And prior to my start with the Marin Medical Wellness Center, I was part of the Marin Cancer Care Integrative Program. So I got a chance to work in a variety of situations. So Jin Shin Jyutsu is similar to acupuncture and acupressure. It's the art of balancing the life energy in the body. And so much of that is using the hands and breath. It's intended to awaken and invigorate the energy of the whole person, mind, body, and spirit, which rallies the body's own healing mechanisms. The breath enables us to unload accumulated stress and stagnant energy when we exhale. And with each inhale, we receive abundant, fresh, purified energy. The slide you'll see that says physiophilosophy, it's kind of a Jin Shin Jyutsu term referring to living with the order of nature effortlessly, living in harmony with nature. And in the next slide, you'll see a self-help that we can do together. So you can place one hand in your armpit and one by your shoulder blade where it meets, or shoulder scapula. No, wait, no, the collarbone, sorry. And you can do one side at a time or both, okay? So where the thumb is, you're actually bringing energy to the beginning of the lung channel. And you're also helping the lymph system which travels along the arm, also down the front of the body, the inside of the legs. So we refer to this as a Jin Shin Jyutsu hug, right? Variations include holding one side at a time, or maybe one side longer than another. What are some of the benefits? When giving ourselves a Jin Shin Jyutsu hug, we support our lymphatic. Right? And the lymphatic protects our bodies from illness-causing invaders. Lymphatic also maintains fluid levels in the body, removes cellular waste. Holding ourselves this way can help with lymphedema and increase circulation to clear stagnation that is accumulating. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we tend to hold for a while, and that is kind of where you're the artist, feeling what's an appropriate amount of time to hold. But in this hug, it also can help relieve tension in the neck, shoulders, and arms. It can help clear strain in the arm and hand issues like tennis elbow and carpal tunnel. So Jin Shin Jyutsu helps boost our immune system, and the lymph is placed in key areas of the body where we have movement, like the arms and the groin. The pumping action of exercise helps to clean, filter, and push lymph throughout the body. This is a nice, comforting way to hold ourselves, and especially in this last year and a half when it hasn't been so easy to hug. So Jin Shin Jyutsu is the art of releasing tensions, which are the causes of various symptoms in the body. Our bodies contain several energy pathways that feed life into all of our cells. When one or more of these paths become blocked, the damming effect may lead to discomfort or pain. And not only can it disrupt the local area, but will continue and eventually disharmonize the complete path or pathways in the body. So Jin Shin Jyutsu teaches us how to hear our body's distress signals and to use them to help ourselves. It's based on the belief of the dynamic flow of energy, the qi that Camille referred to, that runs throughout the channels of the body. And Jin Shin Jyutsu allows us to release those blockages and the gridlock caused by the daily stresses that wear down our physical, mental, and emotional selves. So now there's some other self-help that we can do. We can look at easy self-help that is useful. In this slide, you'll see the hand. And this is actually very close to what Camille was referring to in the 5 elements. The wood and fire, earth and metal and water. So if we hold our thumb, it can help us with worry, preoccupation, depression, anxiety. It helps the energy of the stomach and the spleen and all of the many functions that it encompasses. So that might mean digestion of food, thoughts, emotions, digestion of life. Helps when we're feeling nervous, tension in the head, shoulders, and lungs. When we're talking too much, maybe when we're having an increased taste for eating sweets, and also an aversion for eating sweets. So some of these are similar to what Camille talked about in traditional Chinese medicine, and some are slightly different. So, but these are self-help that you can do, and we'll go through the whole hand. So an interesting thing is if you come to our center to have a session, and we encourage you to for something more personalized than what we're talking about today, I listen to what you have to say, I observe, and I notice what's happening. It's like looking for clues or being a detective. If you came in and you said, I've been really nervous, I've been craving sweets, I've been very worried, right? Feeling nervous. That tells me to look at the stomach and spleen energy, the metal energy, only the earth energy, excuse me. And so that's how we start to put together a session to address what's happening in your body. When we hold the index finger, we're helping the energy of the kidney and the bladder. Also with things like the jaw, teeth, and gums, helping us when we feel afraid, feeling maybe self-critical, also helping with our digestion. With our middle finger, when we hold here, we're helping to relieve general fatigue. It's helping the energy of the liver and gallbladder, which would help with our eyes, our vision. Helps with headaches in the front of the head. Helps when we're feeling angry or irritable or indecisive. When we hold our ring finger, we're helping with the lung and large intestine. Respiratory functions, including asthma, allergies, skin conditions, excessive mucus, and attitudes like grief and sadness. Perhaps we have an attachment and we're reluctant to let go. Season is autumn, like Camille was referring to. In the little finger, when we're holding here, we're helping the heart and small intestine. So holding the little finger can help with heart conditions, heart palpitations, bloating, anxiety. Also when we're trying too hard in life, putting a lot of effort into our lives, which can affect our health. Placing our hand in the center of the palm can help with all the functions that go into the fingers. So you can hold a minute or two at a time, whatever feels comfortable to you. You can even choose a finger while you're sleeping to see what feels good to you. Right. So Jin Shin Jyutsu is about recognizing that a life energy animates all living things. And it's not just in these Asian traditions. Other healing systems from Ayurveda to Greek systems are founded on that principle of the flow of energy within. Sometimes you hear the words like chi and prana and ki. So our health depends on the free and even distribution of this life energy throughout the body, mind, and spirit. If we succumb to burdensome emotions like worry, fear, anger, sadness, and too much effort, we can increase our tendency to become ill or out of balance. So on the next slide, you can see another self-help. We have pathways that start in the chest and flow down to the fingers. Some flow from the fingers back up the arm to the face, and the face down to the toes, and then back to the chest. So if you were to practice this self-help, let's say you would place your left hand and grasp your upper right arm. And your right hand goes to the inner left thigh. So by holding here, you're helping to connect the flows that travel or begin in the chest, the fingers, the face, and the toes. You can also switch and hold the other arm. What are the benefits of holding here? This can be good for the whole body since you're holding and supporting all the major organ function flows. Holding here on either side can help our lung, our chest, our breasts, lymph, and shoulder congestion. A good exercise to apply too if you've had a vaccine and want to enhance circulation in your arm. So connecting the arm and opposite leg gives the energy that's congested an escape route, helping to clear out any blockages. I would suggest 5 minutes a day if you can on each arm, but do what you have time for. Jin Shin Jyutsu is about being and not competing or comparing with other people are doing. We're learning how to hear our own inner harmony. So in the next slide, you'll see a self-help where place your right hand on your left shoulder and you would sit on your left hand. Holding here helps the exhale and the movement of energy up the spine and down the front of the body. From digestive troubles to the spleen, pancreas, liver, and gallbladder symptoms. You can hold both sides. You can switch to your left hand holding your right shoulder and sitting on your right hand. And then in the next slide, you'll see something a little different. So in this drawing, you hold your right hand on your left shoulder and then rest your left hand on your hip, as though you were reaching in your pocket for some coins. Right? Holding here helps us exhale and the movement of energy along the back of the body, from backaches to kidney trouble. So these are just some simple things that you could do. So a typical Jin Shin Jyutsu session, the receiver remains clothed and lies face up on the table. And here's a slide that's kind of interesting. By holding the palms of your calves, you can cross your hands or uncrossed. That helps the circulation of the body. It helps move heat out of the body. It could be useful for hot weather or cooling ourselves internally, such as hot flashes. And also when we're hot from things like chemo, or we've had radiation, scar tissue, or anesthesia. So things that the body would like to let go of, this can enhance our circulation to move things along. So in a Jin Shin Jyutsu session, just like with Camille, I would listen at your wrists to the energy pulses that give me more information about how to work with you, what your body might be asking for, maybe how to help unload particular pathways. There's no needles, pressure, or rubbing. It's holding more regionally than the specific points that Camille will hold. So Jin Shin Jyutsu is good for all bodily functions, mental functions, emotional, and can safely be used with other therapies or medication. Its benefits are cumulative. So usually when people come for a session, I'll recommend some self-help to take home. And then here we have some slides for you to look at. There are 4 recorded Jin Shin Jyutsu classes that I've done over the last year. So if you go to youtube.com and search for MarinHealth in the search bar and click on the MarinHealth logo, look for our integrative wellness playlist, and you'll see some Jin Shin Jyutsu recordings. In this slide, it looks like a drawing that's kind of a skeleton. And we also have classes from our meditation class that's weekly on Monday mornings if you'd like to join us. But we've recorded them all too, so you could listen at your leisure. And you can click on subscribe if you'd like to be notified. Here's our invitation for the meditation class, and it's on Zoom. And you would just have www.mymarinhealth.org/meditation. And it's a great way to join people who have been coming to meditate and would just like to have some inner peace and harmony. And we have one more slide to show you. On November 8th, Monday at 1 to 2, we're going to have a Jin Shin Jyutsu introductory group seminar on Zoom. If you'd like to join us, I'd love to have you. And before the pandemic, we used to meet in person, but now this is being done on Zoom. And there's the meeting ID number, and 797-975-7714. It's free, and you'll learn about so many things that can be useful to your health. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about this autumn season and the lung and large intestine. So I think those are my slides. Right. Okay, thank you, Camille.
Thank you, Corliss. Questions?
We know that's a lot of information, so it's probably a lot to take in.
Each one of